Hello. I hope I'm on the right channel. I hope it's public. It's supposed to be. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm moving my thing on my computer. Oh, no. I didn't put my microphone on. Wait a minute. Microphone. Oh, you can hear me. I think this will be better. Okay, let me see. Is this better? Is this better? Okay. So, last year, I showed you how to make the tree stump. And I've had it all year and never decorated it. So I thought I'd show you some things to decorate it. So I see Barbara Rogers, Kathy, I saw Roseanne, Kathy Drew, Donna. Hey, Donna. She's working on her entry for the Halloween House Contest, which starts in 2 days. We start accepting entries in 2 days. So, and you've got until October 23rd, so it's no rush, but it's always fun for us. And if you can think of some kids, get some kids to make them. We have special kids categories. And I'll tell you the truth, even though I don't put it in the rules, I send something to everybody, all the kids who enter. I might send them, it might just be a $5 gift certificate, but I send them all something. So, you know, because I want to encourage them. I think it's so much fun. And some of the entries are hysterical. Some of the kids' entries are, and they're meant to be fun. I'm not saying you're laughing at them, but they're meant to be fun. So, and then there's always, if you don't want to like compete, then you can do the joy of creation, which is something Ben thought of, just to encourage people to be creative and share stuff without feeling like I don't really want to be in a contest. So I see Kay Smith and Gretchen. Hey, Gretchen. Gretchen asked about a link for the tree stump. There is a written tutorial and a link in the description to the live I did last year. But I was going to show you real quickly. That's why I'm wearing this. This is not a bracelet. It's masking tape. Let me move this one out of the way, and then I'll show it to you up close. I simply folded poster board in half, taped it, masking tape. I cut a hole where I want the opening to be, and I think I reinforced it with like an extra layer or two of poster board, just because the paper mache gets it very wet, and for it to stay together, for it to, you know, not slump, it helps to have more layers. So, but I tape it with masking tape, and you need a strong base. Let me put this down now that I've shown that to you. So this is about 3 layers of cardboard, and you can see it kind of curled because when paper mache dries, it shrinks a bit. So what I would do in the future is cover the bottom more so it would dry equally. But you can see this one kind of rocks, but it's still pretty cool. And this is one of the best paint jobs I've ever done on wood. So I showed you in the video how to do it, and I described it in the written tutorial. Okay, so what I wanted to show you today, I think it's basically 3 things. I want to show you leaves, how to make really cool leaves to decorate it, and how to, if you can stand it. Wait, let me find them. Where are they? Oh. Creepy crawlies. Trying them. Okay, like these are like dollar store little toys, bugs and stuff. And so we're going to kind of elevate them. See the difference? And I'll show you better when we do the top down. And then I like the, because you know you want people to reach in to get the candy. So I figured out a way to have like this gauze be spider webs, and I'll show you. Before I couldn't get it to stick very well, but now I have a way to do that. Okay, I think I am going to start off with the leaves, if I can find them. These are leaves. When I make them, I usually make a lot of them. So I keep extras around, like if I think of something I want to use them for. And I even have them in a small size so I can decorate my house with them. So Ben, can you get that for me? It's a little jar right over here. This is sort of my staging area. I have like lots of stuff here. My friend is coming to visit me, and so I have to really clean up soon. Little jar of leaves, yes. So when I make them, I make extras, and then, so when I want to decorate one of my houses, I have some good little leaves already done. And the same thing with the big leaves, because you never know when inspiration is going to hit. So we'll do the leaves first. And gloves. You need gloves. Oh, let me switch cameras. I'm going to rotate the camera from the mess behind to the mess in front. And I like to use watercolor paper whenever I want, like I really want to do cool colors, like really colors with depth. I like watercolor paper, even though usually I use acrylic paints or these spray stains. But I'm trying to see if I can get you to see the texture. It's got just a little texture, which I like too. I'm going to turn the light up a little bit. I think it's hard to see, but there is a texture to it. And one thing about this size, this is 9 by 12, so it fits nicely on a mat. Okay, so I'm going to use this as a splat box, and I wanted to show you it's not really high time for, it's not prime time for leaves here. It's been a little dry and hot, so the leaves aren't looking great, but you still get the idea of how many different colors are in every leaf. I went walking around this morning and see this one. I mean, you think it's orange, but there's so much variation in it. I really like red leaves. See, look at that mixed with the green and all the yellows and some splotchy stuff. This is from Ben's maple tree. My brother lives next door to me. Yeah, reds are some of my favorites. Look at all the color in this one. So that's why I don't use just plain cardstock. I really want, to kind of bring a leaf to life. And the other thing I wanted to point out is they have, at some point, they have a lot of shine to them. So sometimes you can use like a mica stain to give them a little more color. Look at that one. Isn't that cool? So anyway, if you want inspiration, just go outside and find some leaves. I also looked for some moss, but I couldn't find good moss. Not today. So anyway, these are the ones I've cut. This is, I think, file number 122 from my blog. And I've got the file, I don't think you can see it. I did do a score line, but it's very faint. But I'm hoping it's enough that the spray stains will kind of settle a little bit, and also you can kind of fold them in half so that you get that little crease in the middle, that main stem in the middle of them. Oh, and another thing, I hope I brought it. Where am I? Oh, I hid them from myself because I have so many supplies today. Okay. I'm getting stains. We can do a little black if we want some splotches. I'm going to move the inks out of the way. Black if we want some splotches. Oh, a bunch of different oranges. Here, let me just kind of lay them here for now. These are all the ones I picked out, and I hope I can't find it. I wanted to have one of water, so that I can just kind of soften the paper a little bit. A little green. You saw some of the leaves had green in them. This is a dark brown. This is kind of a medium brown. And these are mica stains. And you can get mini stains at your hobby store. I often find those at the hobby store. But the mica stains have mica in the bottom, and so you really have to you have to shake them really well. And I cannot find my water squirter. It's just a little jar like this. But I think I'm going to have to work without it. But anyway, there, now you can see this, the mic, and that's if you want to give your things a little shine. Okay. So wait, I'm going to take all these out. Dried marigold, and as expected, these are Tim Holtz. You don't have to do Tim Holtz, but I think they're the most common spray stains, and you can order them online. My favorite places are Funky Junkie Boutique and Simon Says Stamp. Those are the ones I mostly order from. Kitchen. Ben's trying to help me. My trusty assistant is trying to find things. But I hide things very effectively. Okay, here, never mind. I know what I can do. I can just I'm just going to wipe them a little bit with my wet paper towel. Can you see that it's wet? Just a little bit. It lets the stains sink in a little bit. Let's take out about half of them and spray. Yeah, I love the spray stains. Okay, here, let me wet one again. And let's do 2 of them. Normally I have a big splat box that's like much more protective, but it's hard to demonstrate it with a splat box, or at least with my, desk setup. Okay, let's just spritz some. I'm kind of starting off with lighter colors. And I saved the mica stain for last. Here's just a bright yellow called Scattered Straw. And let's see. Okay. And I like it to get on the back too, because when I use my my leaves, I like them to have dimensions, so sometimes I like curl them and stuff. So I want the back done. Sometimes I do it like a different color. Ooh. And see how it settles in the crease? Let's get some over here. I just think they look so good. If I didn't have a million things to do, I would be happy just spritzing things all day. Okay, let's get a darker color. Let's get this walnut stain. It's not real dark. Okay, so what I'm trying to do, if you kind of do a half spray, it should come out. I'm hoping it'll come out as splotches. So now we've got splotches, and if it's too much, doop, doop, we just, there. It's starting to look like a real leaf, doesn't it? Yeah, you can use other spray stains. These are, Tim Holtz has a number of different ones, so, oops, overdid it, but, still looks like a leaf, and you got the variation that real leaves have. And, you can smear it around. And when I use my splat box, I don't usually use something that absorbs. So you get all the spray at the bottom, and I give them a bath. And honestly, it's just fun for me. Yellow. Yeah, I usually start dark, light to dark for this purpose. This is antique linen, kind of a, which is a really good color, I think. It's a good starter color. And then remember, some of the leaves I showed you just had little splotches green, little splotches of green. Let's try it. Oh, too much again, but let's dab it. There. Okay. Yeah, leaf colors, I've got, well, you know, because so many of the things I do are kind of this season. That was way too much. I have a lot of oranges and browns and reds and yellows, you know. Those are just kind of my color. But that's mainly what I wanted to show you, was sort of just the variation. And one cool thing is, even if you mix them, sometimes they end up looking very muddy, but we're doing dried fall leaves, so if they look a little muddy, it's okay. Let's see, let's get a brown. Oh, here's a mica. Let's do a mica. And this won't really show up. I'll show you on one of the dried ones. I don't think it'll show up really fast. You have to hear the ball rattle around. Yeah, I tried to do better about adding links. Okay, so maybe you can tell, but this is going to have a shine to it right there. So looking like, you know, I guess like it kind of got moldy or something. Sort of let it go down the crease. Okay, so basically that's it. Play around with spraying it. Wear gloves. These will stain, and then you got like a whole day of colored hands, of your hands being multicolored. Okay, so let me move those out of the way. And we will move to the bugs. I hope you don't have like a serious phobia. Just yesterday, I was washing some clothes, so I took off my belt and laid it down. And when I walked by, I thought it was a snake, and I was like, ah! I was like screaming. It just scared me. Okay, now I want you to see the difference. This is our little dollar store lizard, and this is our dollar store lizard with alcohol pearls. Isn't it good? It just brings it to life. Let me see. I think I've got this guy. I just added some brown to him, and it gives him a shine. And then this is a black snake, but I covered him with some a little bit of a alcohol pearl, and I think it sort of brings them to life. Wait, there was something else I did. Oh, here's another one. This one was just, you know, like a green snake. And I used the alcohol pearls. And you could use just regular alcohol too. And then I wanted the scales to show up, so I used a brown and just kind of wiped it in. Okay, let me get some of these sprays out of the way. Oh, and then the alcohol inks are relatively inexpensive and relatively easy to find. I have heard you can make your own using like a Sharpie, and you put the Sharpie tip down in some alcohol, and the color will diffuse into the alcohol, and you can make your own alcohol inks. Okay, so I'm using this kind of as so you can see better, and I do need gloves. Alcohol inks are kind of interesting in that they are designed, they'll stain anything, but they're designed to stain impervious stuff that doesn't really absorb moisture. But that means like your fingernails will get stained and it'll stay for a day, but you can use some alcohol to kind of dissolve it. Okay, where did I put my alcohol inks? I had a whole bottle. Here we go. Here we go. This is my alcohol inks, and I want to show you the difference. So the pearls, I don't know what the pigment is or what gives the shine. Maybe it's mica too. But you have to shake them and really shake them, and they give such a nice shine. But the regular inks are good too. And let's find a good bug. I want to find, let me see, let me go through my, there we go, this is what I want. Because these are like really ugly, cheap things. But let's use some brown. Let me find my brown. Yeah, this one's called Mushroom. And let's just stain like the legs and stuff. I want the body, the wings, to be kind of iridescent. So I'm going to use a different ink on them. And I kind of like the green. Now this is the alcohol pearl. See the pigment in the bottom? Gotta shake, shake, shake. Okay, so Tiffany said she did make her own DIY alcohol inks. It makes a difference. You know, I mean, I know stuff is expensive. I kind of do this, you know, it's my job now, so I can kind of justify it. But I can certainly see how also it bubbles. But I think it looks more like what we call June bugs. And also, what are the bugs that eat your roses every summer? They're a pain. Okay. So, and it dries pretty fast, but you see how we went from, where was the other one? Let me find another one. We went from that plain to this with the iridescent back. Doesn't that, I mean, it looks much better. Yeah, June bug. Yeah, but there's another one. What are the ones that eat your roses? They're a real pain. Okay, let's do this one. We can leave the legs alone. Let's just turn him blue. Now this is not a pearl. I think that I do have a blue pearl. Let's just see what this looks like. It's not going to show up. Well, it shows up a little bit. See, it's not going to show up on the, I mean, you can see just a hint of blue. So now let's try alcohol pearl. So if the bug was lighter, then it wouldn't be. Okay, so now, wait. I have to shake better. That was pretend shaking. Aphid, yes, aphids eat roses. No, it's then what are they? They get the roses every year. They're like June bugs. Oh, this one.
They're all talking about Japanese beetles.
That's it, Japanese beetles.
They eat everything.
Yeah, they'll eat everything. Okay, see how it's starting to shine more? This one got plugged a little bit. Let me get my glue pen. Oh, see? See, he's much better now. So they show up better on your tree stump or whatever. And that's the other thing. I went and bought a dollar bowl from the dollar store. Just a dollar bowl. And I think you could do the same thing on the outside. I would use probably hot glue to make it stick and just kind of decorate the outside. And see, this guy's already dry and already covered with cat hair. Shocking. Shocking, isn't it? Yeah, just they look totally different, and then they're, you know, and the insects are like $1. And the same thing, let's move these. I know some people react to snakes. We'll get a benign looking snake, meaning he's not, you know, like real scary. Let's turn him black. Then he starts to get scarier. And if you want, you can use a paintbrush, and you can clean your paintbrush with just a little alcohol so that it's not like totally stained. I've got a paintbrush here. There. So that way you don't have to use nearly as much ink. And you can actually revitalize this ink by, once it dries, you just add a drop or two. You know, if you had different plates, you just add a drop or two of alcohol in it, and it will, it becomes liquid again, and you can use it. And you could paint with it. Okay, there we go. All right, I'm going to set that aside, and I do want a little shine. So what kind of shine do we want on this one? I want a pearl. I'm going to do a little green. Just to kind of, let's see. Yeah, see, on the black it doesn't show up as much, but it still works. It just gives him a little bit of shine. I'll show you when he dries. Maybe we'll try to glue this one on. Okay, so that, I'm going to let him dry. Take off my gloves. Try not to touch anything so that I'm like, you know, contaminated. Next, I'm going to plug in some my glue gun. So, just a second. Glue gun. So that is heating up. And now I want to show you what I did for the entrance. All right, let me get my tree stump. All right, as you imagine, it's kind of hard to reach inside and glue. This is gauze that I dyed black to glue it here. It's just hard to get it to stick. So I decided I'm going to glue it to a piece of cardstock and see how that works. So I've already cut out a piece of cardstock. And I'm going to move my tree stump out of the way again. And this is my dyed, it's nothing fancy. It's just kitchen gauze that I dyed black. And, I hope I have scissors. Oh, I do. I do. So let's just cut off a piece of this gauze. I think this is a fun detail, so you're like reaching through spider webs. Okay, so we got this piece, and I want it to go kind of hang up and down, so, and now let's find glue. I'm just using some thicker glue because I just have it right here. Let's put it along the strip. This is wider than the opening. I'm just going to kind of embed it in there. Let's put a little glue on top. Y'all know I love glue. See, that makes me happy. Even though that's about 4 times as much glue as I need. And then squish it down. And squish it and get it all over everything. Pull out your trusty paper towel, because you always need it when you over glue. You always need it. And then I just curve it so that it's going to fit the inside of the tree stump. So I'm going to glue the other one in place. We'll let that one dry for the next tree stump whenever I make another one. Okay, and I'm going to use this is just regular, it's turbo tacky glue, but you could use any glue, but you do want it to kind of work faster, or you could use your glue gun. Okay, my hands are sticky. That's one thing that happens with gluing. My fingers get sticky, and then whatever I'm gluing sticks to my fingers rather than where it's supposed to stick. Okay, so I think this one's going to work. This is the third one I've made. Okay, so I'm going to kind of squish it up against. Oops, sorry about that. I think this one's going to stay. Before, the previous ones never really stayed on. And so I'm going to kind of turn it up and see if I can show you. Nope, it didn't. It plopped off. I turned it up too fast. Okay, I'm putting it back. I'm going to hold that so it doesn't get all the glue on it. And then you know what I do when stuff won't stay where it's supposed to stay. Okay, just stay long enough for me to pull off some tape. I'm holding it while I'm pulling off painter's tape. Okay, let me see. Come on. See, it shifted so much I couldn't even, here, let's put the painter's, I got an idea. We'll put the painter's tape on, and then we'll put it in, and then we'll hope it works. Obviously, hot glue was the way to go. You know I work pretty hard. I'm just not a big fan. Okay, I think my painter's tape is doing its job. There. Now, you see the creepy crawly things you have to reach through to get the candy? I probably should have done that last, because now we're going to be manipulating things. So it may fall off while I'm doing stuff. Okay, now we're going to add stuff. You can add your creepy crawlies first. Let's do a snake. And I really think I have tried different glues to get these plastic pieces to adhere. And Tim Holtz says collage medium will do it, but I have not found that to be true. This is collage medium. Partly because my surface is so rough. So let's try it. And then my glue gun should be warm by now, so that's probably what we're going to have to do. Yeah, see, it's just too rough. It doesn't stick down. It just pops off. So I'm going to wipe it off. And then figure out how to apply hot glue without burning myself. Okay. Uh-oh. That's an alcohol ink thing. I don't know where it goes. That means there's a deadly alcohol ink. Okay, so let's put some, see if this works. I'm trying to just do little spots. I like the head anchored. I don't care if the tail isn't anchored. Okay, so I'm holding him by his tail, which has no glue on it. There. Yes, I think that's going to work. I think that's the way to get the creepy crawlies on. Especially if they're going over the bark. And let's pick out some of our other little guys. Do we want him up here? Let's do lizard. There, see? Now that I'm looking at it up close, I see lots of white, but from a distance, it really looks like bark. This one worked out really well. Its head loosened. Let's see if we can just kind of melt the glue there. Do a blob. Ow! Yeah, don't grab the gun. Okay, and let's find, I like the green one the best. So let's put the little green guy here. He'll be a little, where did I lost him. Oh, there he is. He tipped over. He'll be a little hard because you see his legs stick up. So we'll put him on a ridge. We'll put his body on a ridge so it will adhere. And we will put a big blob of glue on a ridge. There we go. Let's hold him down for a second. Okay, so we got like 3 creepy crawlies here. I'm going to raise this up a little bit. I'm sorry, I didn't think about that. So you get a better view. Sorry about that. Sorry about not realizing it sooner. Okay, that's all I'm going to use the hot glue for. So I'm going to unplug it so I don't get burned. Because, okay. So let's see, where is the cap to that? Oh, that's the cap. That was the spare cap. Okay, now, see, this is holding now. Well, sort of. So now let's do leaves. These are my favorite. I love these leaves. Here we go. So that one dried from our earlier one. And this one was the one we sprayed the mica stain on. See the shine? All right, so where is that bag of leaves that I just had? Ben, can you see my bag of leaves? The big bag of leaves? It's right here. I had it because I showed it to people. I said I make a bag of leaves ahead of time. And then I hide it from myself and it's gone. Oh well.
Not the jar.
No, these are big leaves. They're on the floor. They're there. Yeah. Thank you. Here are my leaves. It's a lot of stuff. Okay, and so these I just glue, and like I said, I try to curl them so that they, look like they just landed. So, and you can use any kind of glue for this. I'm going to use my Turbo Tacky. It can be a little bit challenging just because, the surface we're gluing to is a little rough. And in the pattern, this is the actual size of the leaf. They're about 3.5 inches, but you can make them smaller if you want. If you want to use them, we made the other toilet paper roll things. Oh, look, this one I crinkled the paper so it would have more texture. But you could use them on, you could shrink them down and use them on the toilet paper rolls. So, and just use as many as you want. And then another thing I've used in the past, you can also put some little creepy crawly. Oh, here's another one that's got a good shine to it. You can use, you can embed some bugs down here if you want. And I made some mushrooms. They didn't work real well. But you can find little mushrooms that you could embed too. Tim Holtz had some for a few years, but I don't think he has those anymore. But you can find them at your hobby store. But you can also make them out of polymer clay. I think I'm going to have to make Ben get up another time. There may be 2 mushrooms on the kitchen because I cooked them today. My polymer clay mushrooms, they might be on the kitchen, the counter, or perhaps even in the oven. I'm not sure. They're 2 white mushrooms. And I want the leaves kind of, see this one I actually used too much spray. See how shiny it is? This one I like because this looks like a very old wreath. You don't see the mushrooms?
No.
Well, they didn't work. They might be, I don't know where they would be. I put them somewhere safe. But I really like to use a lot of leaves. Kitty hair. Yeah, so I'll paint them and I'll show them to you later. I hope, if I remember. I don't always remember because I always have something else to do, like finishing a project for an event that was due August 30th. Let's try to get that one up a little bit. Oh, a mushroom luminary. That's interesting. I haven't made many of those, or I don't know if I've ever really made any, just because other people are so good at them. I just like, well, you know, like Craft with Sarah, hers are phenomenal. I just haven't done it, but a mushroom luminary. But I like I like it when it's a new idea. I really try to, you know, come up with new stuff. Like this idea, this tree stump was really from Martha Stewart, but she used a vase and then glued all the creepy crawlies to it. And I'm like, well, I'm not, you know, she gets like expensive stuff. I'm like, I'm not gonna buy some fancy vase, but I can make a paper mache tree stump. Like I said, this is my 3rd, so I've given 2 to my friends. And so this one's going to actually be mine. I will probably keep it. Unless my little sister asks me for it. I'll do anything for her. But she lives in a pretty small apartment or condo, so yeah, she doesn't need it. We don't have many kids in our neighborhood, so not many trick-or-treaters here. putting some over here. Let's get this guy in the back. See, doesn't it look good with all the leaves on it? Yes, tomorrow is Craft with Sarah's last day for her Halloween countdown, and she did some phenomenal things, and one in particular was it's a candelabra, and it's just magnificent. You can't get it free at this point, but she does have it for sale. It's like $10 SVG, but it is magnificent. It's one of the best projects I've ever seen. It's so good. Okay, I think that's it. Those were the 3 techniques, really. Was the creepy crawlies, a way to give the, you know, sort of the spider web effect, and then play with the leaves. Okay, I'm going to switch cameras, I think. Let me switch my camera. Let me rotate this out of my face. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, oh, yes, put it on the porch for the delivery people. Yes, that would be so fun. Yeah, and I could just say, help yourself, and put really good candy in it so they would want it. That is a great idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that the week of Halloween for sure. And I'm going to order stuff so the delivery people have to come. Okay. Tracy said she did make Craft with Sarah's candelabra. It looked hard because it had all these arms to it and a really cool decoration, but it's a beautiful design. Okay, I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed it and got some ideas, even if you don't want, you know, a creepy crawly tree stump. Got some ideas for maybe you have something else and you want to add the, you know, the dyed cheesecloth to it, or you want to make a wreath out of these leaves, or you want to glue them onto a simple bowl. You could just glue them all the way around and, you know, it'd be fun. It's just another thing to do. Okay, well, I will see y'all next week. My friend from Montana will be here with me next week. She is a quilter. I'm not going to do something fabric, but maybe a design that could be modified. I've been trying to do book earrings, but I wanted to make them really easy, so that's kind of what I'm thinking that we'll do, but maybe something simpler than that. Okay, alrighty, well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I will see y'all next Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time for Live with Lucy. Okay, y'all have a good day. Bye.